All right, everyone, welcome back to Small Talk. Let's talk about the labor market and economy and the stock market and what's going to take place going into next week. We know that we've had our JOLTS report on Friday. The Wall Street analysts were expecting 77,000 new jobs created, whereas labor market did not come close to it. They only created 22,000 new jobs for the month of August. And it shows the US economy is cooling down and declining very fast at a very fast pace. That is going to be is very concerning for the financial markets, the economy, and also the monetary policy and what the Fed is going to do as a result of these job reports. We were expecting job data to be not as good, but market analysts were expecting at least 77,000 jobs created. And I was recently, actually yesterday, I was reading somewhere that 96% of the economists were wrong about this because most of them were expecting close to 77,000 jobs. Even if it wasn't 77, it would have been closer to it. But we only created 22,000 jobs in August, which is a very small fraction of what the expectation was. And majority of the Wall Street analysts were wrong about the job creation because nobody was expecting the economy to be this slow. And that has higher risk of hitting recession. Are we in recession? Some people think that we are in recession already, but in my personal opinion, it's not a recession. Of course, Jerome Powell is late, as Trump right after tweeted saying Mr. Too Late is too late, which is true. He is too late. And if you watch my videos regularly, I've been saying the Fed is 2 to 3 rate cuts behind. They should have started cutting rate a few months ago. Maybe this time in September, they will cut the rates more than 25 basis points. But now, with this job data, obviously, the rate cut in September percentage has increased. It was 96% before the job reports. I haven't been able to check what the recent expectation is after the job report. It has to be 100% or more. So, but in my personal opinion, if Jerome Powell was smart, he should do at least 50 basis points the first month, meaning in September, and then he should do maybe 25, and then depending on how the data comes going forward, then maybe he can decide how much rate cut he wants to do. Anyways, that's that. The few dates that I want you to monitor going into next week is September 11th and September 12th. We're going to get our new CPI report on September 11th at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is going to give us the more detailed information about the consumer price index and see where the markets are, if the consumers have the abilities to spend money, and if they're still spending, and which direction the inflation is going. The next day is going to be the PPI report, the morning after, which is September 12th at 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. So these 2 days I want you to keep an eye on. That is going to, obviously, market going into next week is going to be pretty volatile because market wouldn't know what to make of this whole situation. I'm definitely 100% sure that Jerome Powell will cut rates. Now the question is whether he's going to do 25 basis points or 50 basis points. That's the question that still remains unanswered. We're also looking forward to the FOMC meeting, which is taking place September 16th and 17th, and that FOMC meeting is going to be the determination of the stock market depending on how much rate cut Jerome Powell will announce at the end of the meeting, whether it's 25 or 50 basis points again. So once that decision has been made, I guess that will decide the direction of the stock market. This economy is very scary right now to lots of investors. And some investors and some people who like to fearmonger, they've been fear-mongering that, oh, we're going to hit recession. They've been trying to be prepared for recession. But as I said before, we have lived through recession. We've had rolling recession, as Kathy would say, for past 3 years. And finally, we have reached to the peak of the recession. And now I think it's time for us to turn around. Some of the reasons why things are not doing as well is because of Trump tariff as well. We have to be honest here because, yes, Trump keeps accusing Jerome Powell. He is Mr. Slow. He is behind. But in the meantime, Trump has not helped the economy either by him raising tariffs that has increased the cost of goods and services. As a result, there has been quite a bit inflation, labor market is slowing down, inflation is ticking up, which kind of makes Jerome Powell in a very tough position. It's very hard to kind of balance these two opposite direction going datas. And then I guess he decided that he should cut rate because the way labor market is declining, it could get into bigger problem. So, in my opinion, he is definitely going to cut rate, whether it's 25 basis points or 50. I think he'll only do 25 basis points because the inflation is still ticking up and he probably doesn't want to cut too much at once, because that could also spread the panic in the market. People might think, oh my God, he is too late. And oh my God, we're going into recession now because he has, took too long to cut the rate. So maybe the first month he'll do 25 basis points. And then going forward, maybe in the middle, he could do 50 basis points, then 25 and 25 again. That would, I think, the wise thing to do. But again, Jerome Powell has mind of his own, and he obviously has to be data dependent. And September 11th and September 12th, CPI PPI report will also help him decide what he wants to do with the rate cuts. So what are my expectations going into next week? Of course, I am going to be very mindful of what I do with my stocks. It's going to be very volatile week until September 11th. So once Tuesday is the CPI, Wednesday is the PPI. If the CPI report comes, clean, market could see a bounce, and then if it's bad, it will pull back a little. But then we have already also noticed that market has been pretty resilient. Every dip has been bought, so this could happen with the market as well. We also noticed that Alibaba has announced their own AI chip, which is kind of putting lots of downward pressure on Nvidia. And I was reading somebody's comments on StockTwits, and they were like, oh, Nvidia is doomed, Nvidia is dead. People make up their mind so quickly because they're so short-sighted. Alibaba's new chip only means that there are less sales of Nvidia chips only in China. Yes, China is a large market for lots of the chips because it's, they have lots of technology companies that could benefit from Nvidia's chips. But we also know that China is the master of dupes, and they always duplicate everything that they see at a very a fraction of a price. So those companies who are based off of China, they're obviously not going to spend a large amount of money to use the chips that are being produced by Nvidia. Instead, they'll buy the DeepSeek or maybe Alibaba's new chip that they have announced in order for them to work with them for a while initially. And then maybe down the road, they will try consider buying Nvidia chips as well. Nvidia chips are still going to be, I think, much better quality. I'm still very bullish on Nvidia. I don't own any Nvidia position right now because it had ran too fast for me. So I was actually waiting for it to pull back, and then I could start a position. I'm holding some cash on the sideline because I wanted to buy Palantir and Nvidia both. And lucky for me, they're both dropping. I know some of you who already hold Nvidia and Palantir would hate me for saying this, but if you're a smart investor, I think this will be a good buy the dip opportunity. Could Nvidia fall more? Yes, because people still are in panic, and Nvidia could see a little bit more pullback depending on how the market reacts next week or to CPI report. And I think more it pulls back, cheaper it is for us who don't have the Nvidia and Palantir position to start a position, and those who already own the position, it's, I think, good time for them to maybe average up or average down depending on where they bought it previously. Not a personalized financial advice, of course. Also, Tesla, I want to talk about. Tesla has announced a big pay package for Elon Musk, $1 trillion pay package for Elon Musk, with the condition that he has to bring Tesla a $7 trillion company in next 5 to 10 years. I was reading something about autonomous robots of Elon Musk, and they said autonomous robots would be in every household before the robotaxis are even popular in the US. And that is going to add $5 trillion into the Tesla, or even $7 trillion into the Tesla business, which is going to make Elon Musk the first trillionaire in the human history, or well, in the recent years at least. So Tesla is not just a car company at this point. We all know that Elon Musk is the most unliked CEO right now. Tesla's US sales are declining. Their international sales were declining previously. Now they're obviously bouncing back. And Tesla has some regulatory problems that they're facing in Austin, Texas, and in California as well. They also are behind from Waymo and some of the other robot and FSDs, which could be lots of red flags for a common company, and the stock could crash. But Tesla and Elon Musk is not your regular CEO, and they're the stock market. So Tesla stock is not your regular stock. So in order for Tesla to collapse, obviously something drastic has to happen. However, these sorry, I lost my train of thought. But Tesla is not your normal company, and therefore, so my son is here and he's trying to make me laugh. But Tesla is not your normal company, and with their autonomous robots, as Elon Musk had announced in second quarter earning report, that it's going to be in every household in the near future. That could add $5 to $7 trillion into the Tesla as a company. So, am I bullish on Tesla? Absolutely. I think year end is my goal. $400 is my price target before the end of 2025. If it hits my target, I'm selling some of my shares and then I'll hold some. But my personal opinion is, hopefully, inshallah, if everything goes correct, I think Tesla could hit 450, possibly 500, possibly, but 400 to 450 is my price targets towards the end of the year. If they can remove the regulatory hurdles, and if they can remove the humanoid monitors from the robotaxi, I think that is going to give Tesla a boost, because that will be very bullish for Tesla at that point, and that is going to make the stock run. We also know that every little bit of news that comes up, like for example, giving Elon Musk $1 trillion pay bonus, for some people it was a bad idea and stupid idea, and they were like, we're already giving him so much money, and he's taking that money and going to South Africa and putting that money, investing there, and giving him $1 trillion bonus, and you guys are celebrating. I was actually reading somebody's comments, and for some people it's a bad idea, but majority of the stock market investors were actually cheering it, because in their opinion, giving him more money will keep him motivated, and in order for him to stay motivated, he will focus more on the company, which ultimately will have an impact on the stock market. Also, it gives kind of a guarantee that Elon Musk will not leave anytime soon, and this company, Tesla, is like a leader-driven company, just like Apple was. Steve Jobs was the leader. Everybody loved Steve Jobs, and that's why Apple did so well. And now Elon Musk, everybody loves Elon Musk. Some people hate him too, obviously, but majority of the investors like him. He's an innovation genius. People respect him, and that's why it kind of gave people the motivation to buy into Tesla, because they thought it's going to be a while before Elon Musk even decides to leave Tesla. He may never leave Tesla, until death do them apart, obviously. So that is going to, so in my opinion, lots of investors are going to jump back into Tesla stock right now, because they want to be a part of the next run that's going to take place, because the only few hurdles that we have in robotaxi is obviously regulatory hurdles, and once they don't need like a human monitor for the robotaxi, and they increase their area, then it's going to be very bullish catalyst for Tesla, and it's going to run. Now Uber, as I mentioned in my previous video, they closed their deal with oh my god, I forgot the company's name. They recently spent $300 million to buy 20,000 vehicles from Lucid, and they announced that they have finalized that deal. That was supposed to be a good news, but Lucid fell and Uber fell as well. Maybe it was just buy the rumor, sell the news type of event, and now everybody thought, well, there's nothing new in the short term, so maybe we should take profit, and that's very common. It's better when these kind of companies pull back a little. Of course, it gives them more push to run up even further. So NVIDIA, Palantir, I'm waiting for NVIDIA and Palantir to drop just a little bit more so I can buy at a cheaper price, because NVIDIA, sure, it's overvalued a little bit, but in my opinion, Palantir has a much higher valuation, of at least as far as the short term is concerned. For the future, yes, it's of course $1,000 stock, but for the short term, I think the valuation is very extended, and I want it to pull back little more, actually significant more before I buy back in, because it's a very well chance that it could go back to $70 to $80. And if it goes there, for me, it's going to be an Eid celebration. I would definitely buy into Palantir at that point. It may not go there, but I'm hoping that it would. Also, Nvidia, until this news keeps hovering over our head that Alibaba chip is going to be taking over Nvidia. And as I said, some investors are very short-sighted. They just can't see past certain events, and that's why those stocks pull back. So I'm also waiting for this to pull back a little so I can buy back in. Those are those two companies that I really wanted to hold, and I was sad that I don't have the position in those two companies. So anyways, be very careful going into next week, because there are a few dates that I just mentioned: September 11th, September 12th, September 16th and 17th. The market is going to be pretty volatile, lots of ups and downs, but I think every dip is going to be going to be a buying opportunity. So not a personalized financial advice. If you have been looking forward to getting into some of your favorite equities, maybe it's time for you to get in. Small cap stocks have been on fire ever since Trump took over, and it feels like 2021 stock market again, where you buy a stock in the morning and it has ran 700-800% by 2 o'clock. It's a crazy market, very volatile, very risky. So you have to be very mindful and very careful. Don't be too greedy. Just set yourself a goal like, okay, if I make 25 to 50% profit, it's good enough for me, because trust me, even S&P 500 would only give you on an average 12 to 17% per year. Where if you're making 25 to 50% in one day rather than few hours, trust me, it's worth it. Take the profit, don't hesitate, and don't be greedy, and don't hold your entire position waiting that, okay, I'm going to sell it at the top, because before you know it, it could just collapse. Anyways, that's just my update, and I just wanted to make a brief video. I hope you like it. Please give my video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, please share my video with your family and friends, and please give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next one, take care, goodbye, go out, make some money, and stay safe.